Morning, folks. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Today's soap is brought to us from RazoRock. This is P.160. This has a bitter almond scent to it. I've had this one here for a little while. This one comes in a 125 milliliter container, if you will, 4.2 ounces. I think it might come in 5 ounces now. My container has an inside lid, if you will, and that's what the soap looks like there on the inside. I've had this one for a while. It's about, I think about halfway gone. It's, like I say, I've had this one here for a moment. And it has been, usually you can find the soap pretty easy, but finding the, the aftershave balm in stock is a bit of a challenge. Most of this stuff you can find on Italian Barber's website, and I've got a link down below for all that good stuff, and I also have a link to this one here. Now I got mine through Pasteur's pharmacy in New York, but to find one in stock, the only one I could find, you know, that was easy to find was Grumatorium, and I'll have a link down below if you're interested in using the aftershave balm, and I'll use this one here off camera. And also, I thought maybe I'd save a little bit of time. Maybe we'll see. Videos probably still be just as long. I already put my 2 pumps of Preshave oil from Taconic. And shaver of the day is a from RazoRock. This one here is the Eco, and it's got a sharp blade that's already cut in half. Got, like I say, a link down below. Most of this stuff, in other words, if you're trying to keep your shipping costs, you know, in line, everything could be found right there on Italian Barber, with the exception of the aftershave balm. But anyhow, that's what it looks like. And also, if you're looking at this particular shaver, excuse me, this shaver, gosh, I already forgot. Anyhow, this color, and I think it's the silver one, the handles are alike, but if you get the, I think it's the blue and the black, the handles are different. Anyhow, there's a difference with the colors when it comes to the handle, if that matters to you. I've got it whipped up here in my smooth bottom bowl. I mean, I whipped up a lot. I was having too much fun whipping it up. And of course, brushes from RazoRock. This is it's 3 different colors. I think they refer to the synthetic knot as a Plisson knot. A Plissoft knot, yeah. I should say it that way, huh? Anyway, it whipped up pretty nice. This soap is easy for me to whip up. I'll go ahead and get started already put a hot towel to the face, the Preshave oil. Go ahead and get it wet here. Back when I bought this soap, which was a while back, it was one of the first soaps that I got. And if I remember, and I don't remember whose video it was, had mentioned that this would be a good soap for somebody to start with, and in the way it was mentioned was because of how easy it is to lather up. And it is. It didn't take no time at all for this to lather up. And I don't know what makes this soap any different than the other. I mean, you can look at the ingredients, but the amount of certain ingredients will affect how the soap lathers up, how it performs. And I don't, you know, I'm not a soap maker, so I don't know what it is that makes this one here so special. But bitter almond, the scent is definitely present. It may not be for everybody. Some people may have an allergic reaction to it. I don't have any problems with it, but you know, once again, your mileage may vary. Yeah, I had loads of fun whipping this one up. Because I mean, it takes no time at all. This brush here, it just, that lather, it just boom, it just blew up. Go ahead and get started here. This will be the first time using a sharp blade in here, so we'll see how it works out. Loading the blade is pretty easy in this shaver if you're unfamiliar with it and looking to maybe give it a try. It's right around, I think, the $30 mark. I think it is. I don't think it's on sale. And it takes half a blade. You can get them get your blades already pre-cut, or you can snap a DE blade in half and use it. So that way you're using blades that you already have. And I don't know if it's still the same way or not, but when I ordered mine, it came with a pack of 100 crown blades. And those blades worked fine for me. But I had read where some other folks, the blade didn't work out so well. And or maybe it's the shaver itself. It is aluminum. I think it's like 1.3 ounces. I think it is. It's very lightweight. It is, the head, this part right here, is bigger, somewhat bigger than the RazoRock Hawk version 2 and 3. Pick your, doesn't matter which one. And if you're looking for the RazoRock Hawk version 2, you might be a little on the late side, because at least I noticed on the Italian Barber's website, looks like they're all sold out of the version 2. But version 3 seems to be in stock now. Available with various different handles. And to me that does matter, the handle. When you go to orders, you know, trying to get the one that works best for you, or the one that you like in the way of the handle. Still looking at trying to decide in what base plate when it comes to the version 3 of the Hawk. Thinking about going with the open comb. Still thinking about it. As it goes for being efficient, I think it just depends on your kind of shave. It's not that I can't get a BBS with it. I don't think I'd have a problem with it. It's also, I get kind of concerned about trying not to get irritation. So a smooth and comfortable shave is what I'm looking for. And as it goes for which shaver in between the Hawk and the Eco, I think the, in my opinion, I get smoother, easier going shaves and just as efficient with the Hawk. But that also takes Feather Artist Club type blades. And if you're trying to stick with DE blades, of course, you know, the Eco would be the route to go. It would be kind of nice to see this Eco made in a material like, you know, brass or something of the sort that's got a little bit more weight to it, to see how that shave goes. For some people, in other words, like me when I first really struggle with lightweight shavers, and I put out a conscious effort to try to keep on working with them to get used to them, because to me the amount of my gentle pressure with a shaver that has some weight behind it versus one that's really lightweight, for me I have to change my pressure in order to get a smooth, comfortable shave. There's a little bit of feedback with this shaver. Just a little bit. So in other words, you know, like they did with the Hawk version 3, it would be kind of nice, kind of neat to see them do the same thing with this one here. Especially if they could slim up the head just a bit if you're one of those shaves underneath the nose. Especially if you're new. Something like that, I can only imagine, you can kind of tell doing that portion right there might be a little tricky. I don't know. I don't have shaved underneath my nose in forever. So couldn't tell you how it is. Can say though, this is a lot of fun to shave with. It is different. There's two other single edge shavers that take half DE that I have, at least two. I got a Broman and also got the Focus Dynamic, and both of those take a DE blade snapped in half, and as well the biggest difference between those two and the Eco is that it's got a pivoting head. So there's others out there available if you're looking at using a DE blade just snapped in half or just a single. They're mild shavers. They're not as they don't feel as aggressive as this one here. So if you're looking for something a bit milder, you might look into one of those two. For me, the Dynamic is a very mild shaver, easy going, at least for me. It's not that you can't cut yourself with it, but for me it's great for somebody trying to transition from a cartridge into a DE blade. It makes I think it makes an easier transition, as well as the Broman. Broman is a pretty nice little shaver. But I think, and I could be wrong, that the Dynamic might be easier to find. In other words, there's various websites that carry it, and I don't know if Broman's carried on more than one website or not. Last time I looked at it, the answer would be no. That it's only on one website, so that might be a deciding factor for you. But like I said, that Dynamic though, it is a very mild shaver. But for somebody just starting out that's young, doesn't have a whole lot of growth to begin with, don't necessarily need a real aggressive shaver, and you're not trying to run the, in other words, especially if you're talking about a youngin' that's in the house with you, not trying to run them off from using a more traditional method of shaving. It'd be a good place for them to start, I think. My son has used it. It's kind of funny. The ridge right there on his lip, that's where he got cut at. Told him, I said, can't be much help there. I haven't shaved there in forever. It's been at least, oh goodness, it's been at least 20 years. It's probably somewhat longer. We were looking at some pictures shortly after I graduated. I think it might have been a year or two after I graduated, and I had already, I had a mustache. I had, so in other words, I've had hair on at least the upper lip for many years. There was a time when I was in the Army, I did shave it off, and but eventually I grew it back. And it had a lot to do with the fact of what I was shaving with at the time. Of course, YouTube was not available. My dad used an electric razor, so in other words, I was kind of on my own. And since I really didn't like shaving, I didn't really put out a whole lot of effort trying to figure out how to use a razor. And the ones I were using, was like Good News, and I was also using the Bic that's, the single edge, and just never really set all that well for me. Really enjoyed the beard. So for me to get started in something like this was quite unique. Nice shave though. Go ahead and see what the alum block has to say. This one here is from Phoenix Artisan, and the accoutrements complete with rubber band, so I can hang on to it with soapy wet hands. Got a little bit of stinging right there. Got a lot of stinging right there. I kind of figured I would, since I was pulling the skin taut and really working that area to get it a bit smoother. But is it like to the point where I feel like I got a bad shave? I'm not bleeding, so for me, I feel like I'm good to go. It's just got a little bit of stinging. Got some witch hazel unscented from Stirling, mentholated. It is getting further down there. It's almost halfway empty now. Since this is mentholated, it does have a nice cooling effect. If you're not big on menthol, don't get the one that's mentholated. You can get it unscented. I'm pretty sure you can get it unscented without the menthol. And it just really depends on what you're interested in the way of witch hazel. For instance, I've been to Marshall's, and you can find Humphrey's witch hazel, usually pretty consistent. I think it's the 8-ounce size for $5.99. In other words, it's pretty, in other words, not real expensive, but no, it is a name brand. And here of late, at least the Marshall's near me has Thayer's also, unscented, and the other one says original. And I think that's about the same price. I think maybe $1 more. But in other words, that way you can put your hands on witch hazel that's really available where you're at. And plus, Walmart has Dickinson witch hazel, which I've used before and hadn't had any issues with it. It works well for me. But I like the menthol. It has a really nice cooling effect. So that is something that you might want to consider, especially if you're starting out and your technique isn't quite up to snuff. And it helps calm the skin down when it's got a bit of a razor burn, for instance. Feels wonderful. What I think I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you what this excuse me. It took me a few tries to get the pump to work, and I did finally get it to work. But I wanted to show you what the color of this aftershave balm is, now that I put it in the wrong hand. Anyway, that's what it looks like. It's kind of off-white, almost a yellow tint to it. I don't know if the light washes it out or not, but it's definitely got the scent to it. It is there. Had a great shave. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.